Well, thank you for being here today, and thank you for being at the conference. I'm Nancy Conn-Levin. I'm a co-founder, co-facilitator of the Monmouth and Ocean County Brain Tumor Support Group. I'm also a health educator with over 30 years of experience, a specialist in brain tumor information, and also almost a 16-year brain tumor survivor. So I wear lots of different hats. But it's my pleasure to speak with you and to talk with you about quality of life, which is an issue very near and dear to my heart, too. So quality of life is important because you or someone else that you care about has been diagnosed with a brain tumor. You and your family have to adapt to new challenges and define your expectations. And there are a lot of different emotional reactions that occur at different stages of the journey. Family dynamics can be unpredictable. And of course, as we all know, there's no instruction manual, either for us as survivors or for our loved ones and family members. Quality of life is important throughout the brain tumor journey. Of course, at the time of diagnosis, and I know some of you are dealing with this as a new issue, you're making decisions about treatment options, quality of life during your treatments, trying to be as comfortable as possible, adapting to recovery at the end of treatment, and then, of course, for long-term survivors, defining what we call the new normal. What's your life all about now? Adjusting your sails to the winds of change. The only thing that we can be certain about in life is that things are going to change. So we want to do the best that we can to adapt to that. And find out that the little things in life are actually the big things. So your personal learning curve throughout this journey starts with information, beginning with gathering facts from reliable sources, and this includes medical professionals, certain online resources. There are some terrific ones, but there are also some that are not so great, so it's important to know what you're looking at. And of course, other people that are coping with similar issues. Being at a conference like today is so powerful because you have the opportunity to share your stories and to learn from each other. Education, reading and discussing what you've learned, and then educating other people about your condition. And then health advocacy, and I know there's going to be some more information about this at the end of the day today, but becoming an assertive medical consumer and becoming an advocate for yourself is very, very important for your quality of life. So what does quality of life mean to you? Well, each person has his or her own unique story. There are many studies that have been done defining different elements of quality of life, and this includes things like freedom from physical or emotional pain, increased appreciation for life, a strong social network, family and friends, feeling a sense of purpose in life, and I think that's really important for everybody, not just for those of us who are brain tumor survivors, adapting to changes in positive ways, making self-care choices that promote better health, reducing anxiety, depression, and fear, and promoting a sense of well-being and hope. What are some of the potential obstacles? Well, first of all, I'm sure this is no surprise to any of you, living with a brain tumor and its effects can be exhausting, physically and emotionally. There's the issue of acquired brain injury, which we touched upon briefly at the session just before this one about neuropsychology. Acquired brain injury follows brain tumor treatments very often and can present a variety of challenges. Adapting to physical challenges, for example, seizures, pain, balance disorders, visual problems, difficulty walking, these can all be stressful as well. And then, of course, the experience of having a brain tumor and the effects afterwards can be misunderstood and also upsetting to others. And this sometimes has an impact on relationships that we establish after we've been treated for a brain tumor. Social isolation can result because of these altered relationships and the changes in your work status that can happen. Fatigue is a huge issue, and it's much more than just being tired. I always talk about fatigue because it does affect so many people with brain tumors, and it's so frequently misunderstood. It's a debilitating, persistent loss of energy that's not relieved or improved by sleep. It's common, it's misunderstood, and it can greatly interfere with all aspects of your life. Symptoms of fatigue can vary from day to day, and they can also vary at different times in the day. So it's not something that you can predict ahead of time. And it can have an amazing, profound effect on quality of life, especially if it's a long-term issue and you're learning how to adapt to it. Some suggestions for coping with fatigue would include being aware that there are a variety of medical conditions that can either make fatigue worse or cause it to develop. Some of these would include anemia, side effects from medications, insomnia, depression, dehydration, poor nutrition, and chronic pain. I always recommend that a thorough medical evaluation is the first step in treating fatigue, because sometimes those other conditions can either be treated and they can improve your symptoms or minimize the fatigue. Stress management is another very important part of quality of life. Stress is the human response to change. It's something that all of us have to deal with every day. And it's also something that comes from good experiences as well as challenging experiences. It's stressful to go on vacation. It's stressful to plan a wedding. It's stressful to have a new baby. All the things that happen in life that are positive cause stress as well. Reducing stress overload can improve quality of life and eliminate some of the symptoms. One of the easiest ways to do this is by breathing exercises, because this increases oxygen levels throughout the body. And the best part is you don't need any special equipment. You've already got it. We could all just take a deep breath right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth, and try that one more time. You can find yourself taking a deep breath and having cues to do that. For example, when the phone rings, or when you're stopped at a red light, or when you have the start of your favorite television show. If you develop a routine and cause yourself to do deep breaths during the day, it will definitely help with your stress management. Another very easy thing to do for stress management is visualization. And visualizing relaxing scenes can help you feel calm and comfortable. For people who tell me that they can't do visualization, my response is, think about where the milk is in your refrigerator. Almost everybody can find that just by thinking about it, and that's visualization. You're just imagining something and visualizing it. It's a very easy skill. Muscle relaxation is another great way to reduce stress, and that's something that, again, can be done very easily. Some of the best muscle relaxation exercises include tightening a muscle and then letting it go, because that promotes more relaxation. There are lots of different ways to learn to make stress management techniques a part of your daily life, and you can integrate them very easily. You may have heard the word mindfulness. What does that mean? Well, mindfulness is paying attention on purpose to what's happening in the present moment, and without making judgments, without saying this is good or this is bad or this is something I want or something I don't want, just really being present. Exploring and healing the physical, spiritual, and emotional effects of brain tumors is one of the things that can happen from mindfulness. You can just become more in tune with what's going on. It can promote wellness in other aspects of your life. And along those same lines, relaxation exercises, meditation, yoga, and other types of mind-body therapies can reduce some of the physical and emotional symptoms that go along with brain tumors. Self-care is not selfish. By taking care of yourself, you have more energy and more ability to do the things that are important, including being there for others and being there to make a difference. Taking care of yourself is an important part of your health. It starts, of course, with things like improved nutrition and adequate hydration. That's important for everybody. Exercise, doing something that you enjoy so you'll keep doing it. Getting enough sleep and rest, including naps as needed. Energy conservation, learning to pace yourself and carefully plan your activities so that you can conserve your strength. Socialization, spending time with friends who help you feel better, people who make you smile. Now, a lot of the things that we deal with as brain tumor survivors, and particularly thinking about quality of life, have to do with the invisible challenges. Well, we look just like everybody else. And lots of times we hear people saying, you look like you're doing fine. You look terrific. They don't think about what the adaptations that we're going through every day to live our lives. So these include things like being concerned about tumor growth or recurrence, coping with mobility and balance disorders, having changes in vision or hearing, coping with chronic pain, side effects from medications, loss of independence or being afraid of losing your independence, pride and privacy, being reluctant to ask for help, and making all different kinds of adaptations, some smaller, some larger, to live a normal life. Now, some examples of coping skills that can be useful when you're overwhelmed. Well, the first one is reducing or eliminating distractions when possible, like when I asked the camera person to turn the light off. Your ability to function can be limited when you're tired, hungry, under stress, in a new environment, or under pressure to complete tasks quickly. And I always say, when I come to this point in a presentation, this perfectly describes a brain tumor conference for most people. Tired, hungry, under stress, a new environment, under pressure to do things quickly. Using reminders like notes and calendars, Post-its, recorded messages, the different kinds of electronic devices that our previous speaker was talking about can all be helpful. Simplifying tasks when possible and dividing them into smaller segments. And most of all, learning to let go of what cannot be changed. Sometimes you just have to say, that's it, can't do it, have to let it go and move on. So where can you find information and support? Well, happily, there's some wonderful nonprofit organizations. And by the way, I have this whole PowerPoint as a handout for you, so you don't have to worry to write anything down here. These are some of my favorites. There's also local or regional support groups, brain tumor support groups that are specifically for caregivers, because sometimes caregivers don't want to talk about their issues in front of patients, and patients don't want to talk about their issues in front of caregivers. Self-help groups, where people who are going through the same kind of situations help each other, like Beth's organization. Support groups offer discussions, guest speakers, social connections that can really become an extended family for a lot of people. And we all learn from each other. There are also online support groups. These are available around the clock, and there's no limits for geography. You don't have to live close to the support group meeting. Each type of group has its advantages and limitations. These include things like mailing lists, which deliver email messages automatically, and they can send them either individually or sometimes in a digest once a day, where you might get 20 or 30 messages all together. Then there are bulletin boards where there are messages posted, and you have to log in and use a password to read them for some of them. And then there are also chat rooms, which are real-time conversation. And then the newest part of the puzzle is social networking, things like Facebook and Twitter and other ways to connect with people. Reaching out to family and friends is a really important part of quality of life, because people who care want to help each other. And I like to encourage people to think about how you would feel if the roles were reversed. If you're hesitant about asking for help, and I know I'm usually at the first of the list of people who don't want to ask for help, I always remind myself, how would I feel if the situation was reversed? Well, I know I'd want to help somebody else, and the same is true. The people would want to help me when I need help. So I try to remind myself to think, how would you feel? What would you do to help someone else? Asking for specific types of help is really important, and particularly people who are dealing with some kind of an acute situation, their brain tumor journey, like coming home from the hospital or having difficulty with some symptoms or needing help getting a ride someplace. If you have a very specific thing and you say, could you take me to the grocery store, or would you come with me and be my MRI buddy, or would you come help me do a load of laundry? That kind of asking for a specific type of help is very important. I like to remind people, let other people give you the gift of their help. Now, reaching out to help others is important too. One of the best ways to help yourself is to help other people. Participating in local, regional, and national events is very important, and I'd like to congratulate all of you for making the choice to be here today, especially with the forecast. Raising awareness about brain tumors and the related issues can also help educate other people, including educating them about your specific challenges. Talking with other people strengthens everyone. It also is a reminder to practice compassion and understanding. Sometimes someone just needs to tell their brain tumor story and they just need a friendly listener. Or you may need to tell your story to someone, and that's okay. Joining a support group is really important, and if there isn't a group near you, you could start one, and we have people in this room who have done that. So I'm going to conclude with 14 healthy suggestions for improving quality of life. The first one is paying attention to your diet. It's important to think about maximizing nutrients by eating fruits and vegetables that are different colors, by combining lean protein and complex carbohydrates, small amounts of healthy fat. These are all parts of good nutrition. Sometimes people feel more comfortable if they break up their food intake into 5 or 6 small meals throughout the day. You have to learn what works for your body, and don't hesitate to reach out for assistance with a registered dietitian or someone else that can help you with your nutritional choices. Number 2, drink enough water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Dehydration can cause fatigue and a lot of other symptoms, so it is important to drink water before and after meals, and also to have it throughout the day. Try to cut down on some of the caffeine and other dehydrating beverages which work against the fluid intake that you want to have in your body. Number 3, avoid inactivity. Exercise is a wonderful way to reduce stress, and it's also an important part of healthy life. Almost everyone can find some way to exercise, whether it's doing walking, stretching, swimming, water exercises, circuit training. There are all kinds of things to do, and it's very easy to find a place that can either allow you the opportunity to speak to a personal trainer, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, someone who can give you some suggestions about healthy ways to exercise. Don't hesitate to seek that advice. Number 4, get adequate sleep and rest. Sometimes daytime naps can be helpful, but it's important not to nap too much, because if you nap too much, you're going to have trouble sleeping at night. It's frequently helpful to develop a sleep routine where you go to bed and you get up at around the same time every day. And also keeping your bedroom a relaxed, restful atmosphere makes a big difference for a lot of people. It's not the time to watch an exciting movie or have too much going on or just get overwhelmed. That's your peaceful, restful place. Number 5, learn energy conservation techniques. As I mentioned before, living with a brain tumor can be both physically and emotionally exhausting. And the same is true for caregiving. One of the most important coping techniques is learning to conserve and manage your limited energy so that you can make sure that your things on your things to do list are the things that are important to you. Be efficient and learn to pace yourself. Number 6, sexuality and intimacy are other aspects of healthy self-care. I have another talk where I talk about the things we don't like to talk about, and this is one of them, because a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about sexuality, but it's a very important part of being a person, and it's also part of having relationships. So letting go of expectations about performance or goals and remembering what you already know about this topic makes a big difference. And if you're not in a relationship, you can set aside time for pleasurable experiences like massage and other kinds of things just to get that touch and body work, because that's a very important part of health and healing at every stage in life. Number 7, keep humor and laughter in your life. We all need reminders to just have time to enjoy jokes and cartoons and funny stories, looking at the lighter side of life, and also sharing things that are funny to us with people that have the same kind of sense of humor, because we can enjoy those experiences and just learn to laugh together. And laughter is also good for your heart. Number 8, develop an attitude of gratitude. We can all learn to notice the positive things that happen every day and the blessings that are around us, and we can learn to say thank you. Even those little things like when you are coming up to a traffic light and the light turns green. Say thank you. It changes your perspective. Celebrating your blessings, and you can keep a list of the things, the people, the places, the things that make you smile. I like to encourage people to keep photographs of loved ones or special scenes that evoke happy memories. You can also keep a journal and describe positive experiences and then go back and read about them later on. I mean, some people like to do like the 5 things that they're thankful for every day, but it doesn't have to be so regimented. Just keeping some notes and having something to refer to can also be helpful if you're having a day where you're feeling a little down. You go back and remind yourself of your blessings and noticing the things that are going right. Number 9, nurture your social connections with positive people. I always remind people that attitudes are contagious. If you come into a room and somebody's in a bad attitude and they're having a hard time, it's really hard to stay positive. Similarly, if you are not feeling that great and you get together with somebody who's very upbeat and energetic and positive, you feel a little bit better. One of the most positive influences can just be spending time with people, or if you don't have the opportunity to be with them physically, then talking with them on the phone. People that help you feel better about things. People who are upbeat, people who care about you. Optimistic feelings do tend to multiply, and you can learn to look for the good. That's one of the things that I've certainly found through my brain tumor journey, and I know many of you have shared those kinds of experiences as well, that we have lots of unexpected blessings along the road, learning things and learning new perspectives that really do help us feel more positive. You can minimize negativity of all types. If there's somebody that you don't want to be around, then try not to be around them. Make that decision to minimize that time, and avoid being isolating, because isolation can definitely be a problem. Number 10, embrace your spiritual connection. For many people, spirituality can be a very powerful part of health and healing. And this might include things like connecting with your personal and family traditions, exploring faith communities and congregations, or just celebrating nature and the universe in your own way. Prayer and meditation can be a source of comfort. Number 11, sing, smile, create, enjoy. How many of you think you're making enough time in your life for music, nature, pets, creative arts, and other sources of pleasure? Okay, there we go. We had one hand up. That was good to see. Well, there have been studies shown that simply smiling can make a difference and improve your mood. So think about how much better your mood will be when you're doing things like creative arts and being in nature and spending time with pets and other things that help you feel more positive. Rediscovering joy in your life and celebrating your blessings makes a big difference in quality of life. Because what is life about? Number 12, learn to ask for help without feeling guilty. I told you this is one that I'm still working on. But asking friends and family to help and being willing to accept their help can make a huge difference. And it can free up energy that you can use for other tasks. By being as specific as possible about the kind of help that you need, it will help someone really meet your needs. People who care do want to do things to make things easier. Number 13, kind of related to number 12. Allow yourself to say no, especially for those of us who are brain tumor survivors who may have physical or cognitive challenges. It's important to minimize what's on your things to do list. By learning to say no to things that are not important, that you cannot or do not want to do, you are putting aside energy for healing and also to cope with things that are unexpected, because we all know unexpected things happen and you want to be able to respond as much as you can. Number 14, stress management and relaxation can be powerful coping techniques to improve quality of life. Well, I spoke about stress management a few minutes ago, but that's just a reminder of some of the things that you can do to help reduce stress and use that as a tool to have a positive perspective. And number 15, perhaps most important of all, identify your priorities and be aware of how you spend time every day. It's no surprise that life is short, and it's not just for those of us that have had a brain tumor diagnosis. Life is short for everyone. It goes by really quickly. Daily life can easily become overwhelming, especially if you're coping with physical or emotional challenges. And by making conscious choices when you plan your schedule, you can learn to focus on the people and the activities that are most meaningful to you. It's important to let your daily activities reflect your values so that you're really spending your life doing what's meaningful to you. In summary, if you're a brain tumor survivor, remember, you're not alone. That's what this conference is all about. You are not alone. Coping techniques, positive self-care, finding support, and sharing information can all have a beneficial effect on your quality of life. So thank you so much for being here today. And I'd be happy to take any questions if you have some. No? Yes? Sure. Absolutely.
I'm very guilty of just doing and doing and doing. And I'm coming up on 5 years, as 5.5 years of taking care of a brain patient, whom I love to pieces, but I just overstep my bounds and then I get really burnt out. So I'm making a conscious decision to take 1 hour a day to do something for myself.
That's terrific. And so important. It's very hard to do, but it's very important. Well, let me remind you about something. When you travel on an airplane, you hear the safety announcement and they say when the oxygen masks come down, put it on yourself first before helping another traveler. And that's true, because if you don't have your own oxygen on, you're not going to be able to help someone else. So if you're not taking care of yourself and meeting your needs as a caregiver, you can't be there for your loved one. And they don't want that either. They want you to take care of yourself.
I know, because I feel guilty.
I have lots of good caregiver resources for you, so at the end here I'll
Need them.
Pass those along to you.
I'm going to spend an hour tomorrow reading them.
Okay, that will be your way of taking care of yourself and recharging your batteries.
Probably knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I am getting better. My husband was diagnosed actually with MS in 2005 and then a brain tumor in 2008. And we have 2 young boys, and it was very difficult for me to ask for help.
Right.
And until he started radiation, and the social worker really worked on me about, who's helping you, and I said, no one, I do it myself. I'm working full time. He's on disability, and you know, and she kind of wore me down and really just gave it to me.
Right.
And then I had a friend who had surgery, and I took her a couple dinners, and she was like, everything on your plate, and you did this for me, and, you know, and then talking to my hairdresser, she's like, well, how did that make you feel? I said, it made me feel good to help her, so then
Right.
let people feel good helping you.
Exactly. That's the whole thing.
And that's kind of what got me over it. And then the woman, the social worker at Steeplechase, she's, you know, she made some phone calls and got in touch with us at our church, and they were bringing dinners once a week. Just so I didn't have to cook dinner once a week. But now I'm getting over the guilt. We went to Hershey over the weekend. I hit the outlets by myself for 3 glorious hours by myself.
Wow.
So, you know, and I get the one call, what time are you gonna be back? I'm like, you're at your mother's, the kids are fine, you're fine.
Okay.
I'll be back when you're back. He was missing you.
There's just 3
Yeah.
here. You want to pass it down.
He didn't want me to spend too much.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm spending what I'm spending, and I'm enjoying my time alone. So I'm getting over it. Sometimes I'll get you there.
You gotta help me, because I'm not real good at it.
Maybe I'll
And I
get you.
have a daughter that just came home from a nasty marriage and
Aw.
divorce, and she hasn't been home for 8 years, and she's living with me.
Yeah.
So she's very depressed.
Right.
I'm taking care of a brain tumor patient. And paying
You need to find some places to have fun.
I have to.
Seriously.
I mean, I was technically gonna come to this thing by myself today.
Uh-huh.
So, no, I can't do that.
And you brought both of them with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely pass along more caregiver information.
Do they have a support group just for the caretakers, the caregivers?
There are some caregiver support groups, but there actually are wonderful caregiver resources online.
Well, the
So-
Thursday night group, I have to put a plug in for
Mhm.
this. Myself and another member.
Where is that?
pushed For the brain tumor support group.
Is it from this group up here? Okay, okay.
And twice a year, we ask if we could separate so that the caregivers could talk their feelings
Mhm.
and the brain.
Oh, we do that at the Monmouth and Ocean County group also,
And
but we
we
do it a
push
couple
for it.
times a year, where we
push for it,
separate,
Because I find if we don't.
because you haven't been there enough to do it yet. Yes,
Yeah,
I know you will.
So
And I
this
am gonna
person
get
and
my
I
brother.
joined another support group that we just go alone
Yeah.
about the brain patients.
Yeah,
And it's very good for us because we go out to lunch or dinner
Right.
before, and then we meet at this meeting and just chat.
well, the reality is that both survivors and caregivers have things that they need to say to each other
Yes.
without the other one hearing it.
That's right.
And it's equally important on both sides, and I've had both hats on. I've been a caregiver and I've been survivor, so.
Yeah.
But does everybody live near one another? That's the problem I kind of find.
No, we're kind of scattered. Yeah, we are
Because it
scattered.
would be great if we
Yeah.
all kind of lived in the same area and
Yeah.
we could just get together once a month for
We
a
did
party of
that.
some
Right.
sort.
For one of the members, one of the caregivers' birthdays, she turned 30, so we said we
Yeah.
should take her out to celebrate.
Mhm.
So we had a group of about 10 of us,
Yeah.
and most of us were the caregivers. There was
yes.
two survivors there. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
just nice for the women to go out and
Right.
just kind of, we said,
Right.
we need to do this really like once a month
Once
or
a
every
month,
other month.
yeah.
Yeah.
We did it 2 months and then it stopped, so we
Oh,
do
that's
it
too
again,
bad.
but the holidays are coming,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
kids,
so maybe after the new year. We
grandchildren,
said maybe we can even do a
whatever.
movie and do co-ed, and then the men can go see one movie, and we can go see another
That's a
movie.
great idea.
You know, do dinner before and then
I like
go to
that.
the movie, so,
I might steal that idea for our group. I like it.
you know, something, because you just have to get out and have fun and try not to
You
think
do.
about
You do.
brain tumors.
And it's
but be
important-
with people that still understand
Exactly. I
the
was going to say,
situation.
our brain tumor support group does plan several social activities during the day just for that reason, that you want to be with people who understand, but you also need to just have fun
Mhm.
and do something that's not all about brain tumors.
Right.
We gotta put that on the to-do list.
Well, we talked about going out after this conference today, but it's not gonna happen with the weather.
Not with the snow coming down. I don't think
It's
so.
not gonna work today.
No.
Well, I started a nonprofit website really that helps benign brain tumor survivors. Let's connect because I was treated in '86 and you know besides the internet not being around, there weren't any support groups. So I realized as soon as there were brain tumor support groups, I couldn't connect with other benign brain tumor survivors. So I started a website for that. But I'm finding that even though there are 600 members and the membership is from all over the globe, it's really hard to get other survivors together. So
Yeah,
it's been,
because
at
it's
least for me, it's been really difficult
Yeah,
to connect with anybody on the local level.
Right.
It's been hard.
right.
And where do you live?
I'm in Edison.
Oh,
I'm right here.
You're right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister's in North Brunswick, so you're gonna get her soon, so.
There's one connection.
Does anybody know of an area of some sort of a support group in the Jackson area? I think I asked this again last night.
That would be the Monmouth one, wouldn't it?
that's
Yeah,
how.
that she goes to that.
I think Bruce
Yeah,
told me only
right.
Tinton Falls is the
Right,
closest.
right, it is.
Because my dad is in Jackson, so
Right.
I'm even an hour from
My
him.
nephew
Right.
is in, down by Barnegat, so they
Mhm.
go to that group.
Right,
And he gets relatively close for my
Yeah.
father
Yeah.
too.
That's where they go, to that group. That
The
Monument.
Tinton Falls,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm. That's our group.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that was my first,
Jen and Jim Ferrigno,
Mm-hmm,
that's my niece.
okay,
Small world, isn't
it
it?
is. 2 brain tumors in one family.
Yeah, well, she, biologically, we're not connected, but
Yeah,
when he collapsed in California, my niece said, before you go anywhere, go to this surgeon. And that's where we ended up, and that's how we've been connected ever since.
Hmm.
And she understands,
right,
because he's been on the treatment and
right.
seizure medicine and the whole 9 yards.
Well, happily, especially with the technology that we have these days, there are other ways to connect. I mean, it's wonderful to have face-to-face meetings and hugs and just being able to be together. But if you can't be together, you can talk on the phone, you can email, you can do Facebook. I mean, there's lots of other ways to be connected and reduce that isolation and share experiences and share happy things too. Okay, well, I'll be here for a few minutes if you have any other personal questions, but thanks so much for coming to the workshop and coming to the conference, and wishing you all good health.
I truly want to
Thank you. Thanks.
You only need everything that I need to know so
Thank
I
you.
can be here, because without you, I've not